Hey Sagittarius, it's Empress Rose here. Welcome to your reading. These are general readings, so we take what works, leave what doesn't, as with everything in life. And if I don't catch your storyline or wavelength here, check your Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus signs. Also, you can book a personal reading with me now. Those are open again. That's at empressrose1111@gmail, and you can email me there, and we can set up a personal reading. All right. So we're starting with the Oracle Mystical Moments deck here with an intuitive vibe of where we're going with this reading. As you can see, my surroundings are very different than usual. I am traveling this week, so maybe some mixed environments here. All right, that one's spun around. All right. Oh man, communication issues. And we don't like it, do we? Here you are, you're the observer. You're closely observing your surroundings, possibly through social media. You're very committed to something. It has to do with maybe some self-perception here and some ideas about who you are or who you're going to be. You're very committed to it and very focused on it. But right now you're just kind of watching the situation. You're getting the lay of the land. It's causing you to have some ideas. Okay, maybe you're not super duper focused, but you're pretty focused. You're watching both what's in front of you and also what's out of the corner of your eye. You can't see it, but she's looking out the corner of her eye at you. But she's got this, she's also got her hand, and physically she's focused and observing something out there. But she's also observing with her peripheral vision something that's coming in on the side. But that is, our peripheral vision is so incredibly important. And with our focus that we have with everything, our screens, which are focused right here in front of us, sometimes we forget to be looking out on our peripheral vision and seeing what's out there and gathering information from sort of our side view, not just what we're supposed to be focusing on. So there's something you're observing and you're watching though, and it's you've got some ideas about it and you're very focused on it. But right now you're in that information gathering stage. We've got Night Ride. This is going through sort of a confusing, foggy time. We've got a swampy situation here, but we've got a team helping each other out. Each one bringing their skills, the owl bringing its vision, the elephant bringing its strength, its memory. And there's something here that's getting protected, that needs some protection here. A young thing, maybe a new idea, maybe a person in her life that needs the protection because they haven't developed all of the skills they need to survive this this difficulty, this confusing time. We have "Can you hear me" here? So this is about attempts, possibly repeated attempts to communicate, to talk about who you are, about what you think, how you feel. This is a very emotional card. You can't see, again, we've got some fog here. We've got this just not being able to see very far, not being able to see where you want to go, not being able to see like who you want to talk to. And there's sort of a sense of defeat here and sadness about not being able to share this deep aspect of yourself. There's almost a giving up vibe here of like, this is never going to work. No one's ever going to hear me or see me or see me for who I am, or I try to communicate my emotions and it just, I don't know who to, I don't know who to talk to. I don't know, when I do talk, if they actually hear me or see me. So you're feeling like a little bit defeated and overwhelmed with this communication. This is such a deep communication about something so deep inside of you. Some feelings and emotions that you'd like to communicate. You're trying to communicate them, but maybe you've stopped trying to communicate them because it just didn't seem like it was going anywhere, or it seemed like a lot of effort for not a lot of payoff. Then you have like a bird, so you have stopped trying to communicate. You're holding back. Again, it's something you want to talk about. It's something you want to communicate about, but you're literally holding it back. You're frustrated. It's difficult, but you've just decided not to allow that communication to go forward anymore, because what's the point? No one's hearing you, no one's seeing you. Why are you putting all this effort into it? I mean, I'm not advocating for like that level of sort of depression and giving up, but there is a point when other people you know, maybe you've observed and watched the situation enough, and you've paid enough attention that you realize that even your best efforts aren't being heard or being understood. And so even though you're used to communicating, you're not going to for a while. This isn't, I'm not telling you to cut people off, although that is sometimes a last resort option for someone that's verbally abusive consistently. But this is more about just like still having that desire to communicate, but just not putting the effort into it anymore. And it's kind of a confusing and difficult situation. You're not quite sure, you know, that you know where you're going or know that this is the right option. But you've seen a lot here, and you've seen enough to know that you're not being heard. And you do have support here, maybe seen or unseen, but you do have some support as you go through this and figure out, you know, if you're going to be communicating again and what. But it's not like you just got to hair up your ass and we're like, I'm just not communicating. It's like, well, okay, I've watched what's gone on here. I've observed this enough. I'm not being heard. And even though my impulse is to communicate and continue talking, I'm going to withhold that because it just doesn't seem to be helping the situation. All right, Sagittarius, here is your past, your present, your inner landscape. What's at issue, your environment, your to-do list, and your possible outcome. Okay. This could be about family. You know, a variety of situations. Family pops up here because we've got the Six of Cups. This could be friendship, though, or work. I was actually getting a work vibe earlier on this. So here we have in your recent past, we have this Nine of Cups. We have a fulfilling emotional situation, something that was fulfilling. I mean, it's not right now, but there was something that was very fulfilling, some emotional sharing. You've got your emotional trophies here. You're very proud of what you had achieved and what you had accomplished. And there was a lot of emotional fulfillment, and you wanted to share that with others. In your present situation, you have this Two of Pentacles. This is two things that are never perfectly in balance. This can be a work-life balance. This can be a relationship between two people where we're never perfectly, it's never going to be like the scales are perfect and they're still. So we make a dance of it. It's sort of two things that are eternally needing to be balanced. It's the Two of Pentacles. And things can be it's always going to be a little unstable. We're always going to be having to do this dance. So that's in focus right now for you, is this sort of one of those things in life that just always needs to be being balanced. It's you know, one week you're working 80 hours and the next week you don't have work. Or, you know, you're spending time with family and your work suffers, and then you spend time with work and your family relationships suffer. So just something here is always being negotiated, always being balanced. So you're negotiating something. It's a little bit. The pentacles are uncomfortable in this sort of watery, flowy energy of the Two of Pentacles. So they're not like finding the stability that they love. They're sort of a little bit up in the air, and it's a little bit of an uncomfortable vibe as we sort of figure this out and dance these two extremes. And then also with this like idea of extremes in your personal, in your inner thing, in your hopes, you have this Temperance. So you're hoping to balance these extremes. Look, we've got flowing, we've got extremes here, we've got very different, on the one hand, on the other hand, we've got our simple syrups, we've got our bitters, we're mixing them. So you're hoping to be able to mix some things, to combine some things, maybe even be a bit of a peacemaker, and bring two opposing sides into balance. So you're hoping to bring something into balance, or you're hoping to bring some extremes together so that you can, so that they're just more palatable or even stronger together. You're looking for something that's more temperate, that's not the desert, that's not the jungle, but that's something in between where there's enough water for everything, and yet we're not feeling like we're swimming when we're actually walking. and we're not sweating when we sit. So this is, you're hoping maybe for a little divine guidance on this and a little help from this, but this is what you're hoping to do. So this is in your hopes thing, is to bring these two things together, bring these extremes together. I don't know, you might be like not feeling like anybody's hearing you or appreciating your attempts to do that, however. So what's at issue here is this Ace of Swords in reverse. So this is about ideas and communication, and it's not happening. Communication is not happening, and that's an issue. That's the problem. That's a blockage here. Is this the Ace of Swords? The swords are about communication, about clarity. You have, as we mentioned before, you have a lack of clarity here and a lack of communication in these two cards. So, yeah, that's what's at issue, is this difficulty with this communication, either not being heard or not speaking. Like here, you weren't feeling heard, so you've decided to stop speaking. So there's no communication, and there's certainly not clear communication going on here. There's just not any. And communication is a two-way street. You know, one of those famous phrases that people often get wrong is it takes two to tango. Well, that means it takes two to work together to make something beautiful, to communicate like that, and to move their bodies together like that. But it only takes one person to fuck up a tango. It just takes one person deciding they're not going to tango with you at all, and they're going to go away. It takes one person to just sit down on the sidelines and refuse to dance with you. It takes one person to decide that they think this tango is stupid and kick you in the shins and stomp on your feet. So, so when we say it takes two to tango, it takes two to make that communication happen and work. And you can be, you know, the top tango dancer in the world, having won Dancing with the Stars 10 seasons in a row. But if your partner doesn't want to engage with that, you're never going to win the award, no matter how good you are, because the person you're working with doesn't want to fucking dance. They don't want to dance. They don't want to communicate. And it doesn't really matter how good you are at it. If someone wants to step on your feet and kick you in the shins, there's not a lot. I mean, the only thing you can do about it is just walk away, right? Which is what you're doing right here. So this, you were trying to bring something into balance. You had an emotionally fulfilling situation that got out of balance. You're trying to bring it back into balance. Your hope is to bring it back into balance, but there's not been good communication. The communication has suffered. It looks like it may have begun with just not feeling heard, and now you don't want to talk, because now you're like, no, fuck you. I don't want to tango anymore. No, you messed it up. I'm not going on the dance floor with you. Why would I go on the dance floor with you? When the last time I went out on the dance floor with you, you kicked me in the shins and embarrassed me in front of all the judges. Yeah, maybe you're an award-winning tangoer, but you're not going to be without a partner to tango with you. So, and you're just like, yeah, well, I don't want to do that with you so anymore. You're not cooperating. I'm giving you my best. You're not hearing it. So there's just this lack of clarity. There's been a miscommunication. You wanted to get it better, but it's just not. And the lack of communication isn't going to help it either. But I don't know, you know. So here in your environment, you have the Six of Cups. This can be a family, this can be a siblings card or something from your past coming up. This memory of being emotionally fulfilled. You were emotionally fulfilled once. It was satisfying once. You did tango with this person. You tangoed beautifully. You guys won 10 championships together there, and you have this memory of this beautiful tangoing with your partner here, and maybe a childhood friend or childhood partner or a sibling or somebody from your past that you've known since you were a child. You're remembering that emotional satisfaction. Or maybe it's someone else, a former, you know, to like really stretch this metaphor way the hell out here. This was a previous tango partner that you had, and you were like, well, they never kicked me in the shins. They never, you know, refused to dance when it was our time to dance. They never did that. So you're thinking and remembering something, and there's something in your environment that's triggering that. That is this person. You may have recently met them, or you may be, you know, have gone back to where you knew them or something like that. But there's something in your environment where you're reconnecting with something that was emotionally satisfying. And maybe that's causing you to realize that the situation right now is not emotionally satisfying, because you do have this emotional satisfaction in the past, you're remembering it. And then we have a lot of cups here, and a lot of communication, about emotions. Your to-do list, here's this Four of Cups. So this card has a lot of possibilities to it. So this is, you've already had enough to drink, you've already had your cups, and then when this option comes in, possibly divinely guided, you don't want it because you're done. You're just done here. You don't want to talk about it. You're just done with it. You don't want to do anymore. So this card is interesting because it could be calling you to reject a new offering. You know, it's like this person's communication is so bad and the situation is so bad that just if they reach out again, just reject it, because you already tried 3 times to do this. You know, you've already tried to communicate, and now here comes another offering, here comes another emotional connection. They like it, and you're like, but I know every time we go out on the dance floor, you kick me in the shins. Like, I don't want to do it. So you could be being called to actually reject this new offer because it's just, you have enough evidence here that this isn't what you want. Or your plate is already full and this isn't going to add anything to you. You've already passed out from the drinks you've had. You don't need another one. You're not thirsty. You're not hungry. You don't need this other offering. So I think that that's what this card is calling you to do. This card can have several interpretations because this could be the divine one coming in and you've already filled yourself up with all this other bullshit here that you don't accept that. But with these 2 cards here, I think there's another request to communicate. And I think this is saying like it's okay to like have had enough because you have had enough. You have these empty cups down here. You've already had enough to drink. I don't think you need to be, and that you're being called into this energy, this Four of Cups energy. This is not bothering with the 4th cup. Just, I already have what I need. Thank you. I've already tried your drink. I really don't like it. I've tried it and tried it and tried it, and I've really tried to like it, but I think I'm done with this. And I don't want to like be telling you to reject something that is divinely guided. So unless you get some really overriding evidence that this thing is coming in for you and that this is the cup you need to take, I would say that this card is talking about not further engaging with something. Although we do have this is an issue. This is what's at issue. The issue is this lack of communication. This lack of clarity and lack of communication. If something clear does come in, but see, here we have this lack of clarity here. I don't see the clarity coming in. I see you having tried and having worked and having hoped to bring some sort of resolution here. It not working, and then you just being done with it. And then in the energy you're going here is the Emperor energy. I really like this. This is reclaiming your power, being in charge. This is about who's in control and who's in charge. And this is about you being in charge and being in control of what you want, what your boundaries are, what you want to do. This man has all the power. The ball's in his court. He gets to make the decisions. He calls the shots. This is the 4 kings all in one. It is emotional maturity. It's not emotional immaturity. We're not talking about like, I'm just not talking to you anymore. We're done. We're not talking about an emotionally immature cutting off. We're talking about like having tried and not falling for this bullshit. No. I'll dance with you again. I will. We're not, you know, this is talking about not falling for a repeat bullshit, but taking back our power and being in our power space and being, having everything we need, having a lot of self-confidence, having a lot of self-control, a master of maturity, master of, being mature and being in control and being in charge of our own lives and our own situations. So this is that, I want to say big dick energy of just like, I don't need to fuck with you. I don't need to mess with this. I've got what I need here and I'm going to be fine and I'm going to be okay. I already have everything I need. So if you want to bring in another cup, that's fine. I'm not going to take it because I already have what I need here and I'm fine and I'm okay and I'm good. And this isn't like going around saying like, I'm in charge of my life. This is like, yeah, I just am in charge of my life. I don't have to go around bragging about it and talking about it because I'm the emperor. I get to sit back. I get to be like, hey, I'm cool. I know what I want. I know who I am. I know what I deserve and I know what I'm worth. So that's your reading for today, Sagittarius. I thought that for me anyway, that was a really interesting flow and a really interesting storyline. So I hope that resonated with you. And thank you so much for your likes, subscribes, and comments. I really appreciate them. I love engaging with you guys on the channel. And when you do engage with the channel, you do raise its visibility within YouTube. And so other people can find these messages. So if someone's helped by a message later down the line, you can consider yourself as having helped them because you helped them find these messages. So that's really cool. Anyway, I hope you have a great week, Sagittarius. Thank you so much for watching.